The exam with no question paper. Have you ever done the right thing, only for it to seem like you lost because of it? This is the story of how one examination tested Olufunmilola's character more than her knowledge. For those who may not be familiar with Nigeria's education system, the university entrance examination at the time was officially called the University Matriculation Examination, or UME, and was administered by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, commonly known as JAMB. Like most Nigerians, Olufunmilola simply called it JAMB. The examination was held only once each year. Students who did not obtain the required score for admission often had to wait another year before trying again. As the examination approached, Olufunmilola prayed earnestly. She asked God to help her pass JAMB on her first attempt so she would not have to wait an extra year before entering university. Finally, examination day arrived. She entered the examination hall with confidence. She had prepared well and trusted God. The English examination began as expected. Then something unbelievable happened. There were no question papers for the remaining 3 subjects. The invigilator announced that the examination center had not received enough question papers. Confusion filled the room. Students looked around, wondering what would happen next. Before long, answers were circulating throughout the examination hall. Some students copied them. For many students, it seemed like the only option. But at that moment, Olufunmilola had a decision to make. As answers continued to circulate around the examination hall, she remembered a recent message she had heard called, "Dare to be a Daniel." The message was based on Daniel chapter 1, verse 8. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Sitting in the examination hall, Olufunmilola realized that she also had a choice to make. Quietly, she raised her hand. For someone who was naturally quiet and introverted, speaking up did not come easily. When the invigilator came over, she asked politely, "Sir, is there another question paper for the remaining subjects?" The invigilator shook his head. "No," he replied. "We don't have any." Then he did something she did not expect. He offered her the answers that were already circulating in the examination hall. For a moment, Olufunmilola remembered Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11. Wealth gained by dishonesty will be diminished. She looked at the invigilator and replied, "No, I don't want to diminish." The invigilator looked at her and responded in Yoruba, "Wope nechochi." Loosely translated, he was saying, "You will spend a long time in church." The comment suggested that she was being too religious and unrealistic. But Olufunmilola had already made her decision. She remained in her seat. She decided she would not copy someone else's answers. If that meant waiting another year before attending university, then so be it. She left the examination hall disappointed, but with a clear conscience. When the JAMB results were released, Olufunmilola did not pass. Her fears had become reality. For a moment, it felt as though God had not answered her prayer. She accepted that she might have to wait another year before pursuing her dream. Instead of complaining, she began preparing for the next JAMB examination. Then something unexpected happened. About that time, both sisters learned about a university pre-degree program. They became interested. But after learning how much it would cost, they both quietly concluded that their parents probably could not afford it. So they decided not to mention it. A few weeks later, their mother approached them. "I heard about a pre-degree program," she said. The sisters looked at each other. "We already knew about it," they admitted. "But we thought it was too expensive." Their mother replied, "You should have told us." Without wasting any time, the family traveled to the state where the university was located. When they arrived, they discovered it was the very last day applications would be accepted. In those days, application forms were purchased at banks. Normally, students would buy the paper form, take it home, complete it carefully, and return another day to submit it. But there was no time. The bank would soon close. The sisters quickly purchased their application forms. Right there in the bank, they carefully completed every page. As soon as they finished, they submitted the forms before the bank closed. They had made the deadline. About 2 weeks later, they prepared for the pre-degree entrance examination. They both passed. In the end, they both gained admission into their first-choice field of study through the pre-degree program. Looking back, Olufunmilola realized something important. She had prayed for God to help her enter university without waiting another year. At first, it seemed as though God had not answered her prayer. She had failed JAMB because she did not receive question papers for 3 of her 4 subjects. But God had not forgotten her. He simply answered her prayer in a different way. She expected him to make a way through JAMB. Instead, he made a way through the pre-degree program. The route was different, but the destination was the same. Sometimes we become so focused on one door that we fail to notice another door God is quietly opening. Sometimes one door closes, not because God has abandoned us, but because He has already prepared another way. Doing the right thing may sometimes appear costly, but integrity is never wasted. God can accomplish His purposes without requiring us to compromise our character. Have you ever prayed for something, only to discover later that God answered your prayer in a completely different way? Have you ever chosen integrity even when it seemed to cost you something? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. If you enjoy these true life stories and would like to hear more stories of faith, perseverance, and God's faithfulness, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. God bless you.